Welcome back to Wired Gaming for some more on Nightingale. Nightingale launches on the 22nd of February 2024, so in around about 3 weeks time. But if you are excited for this game, you may be able to play it a little bit earlier, because there is a stress test coming up. There'll be more about that in just a second, but if you don't know what Nightingale is, we've been covering it for almost 2 years on the channel. Quite regularly with updates that they've been posting, and recently they've been posting loads of stuff through IGN. IGN have covered them and showcased loads of awesome things such as a massive boss fight which looks absolutely insane. I'm also allowed to say now that I have been part of regular playtests for the better part of almost a year and a half now. Now these playtests have been really fun and we've been able to test the game and give feedback to the developers and go through various stages, and that has been great. But before we talk about and it's been great to be part of that journey and seeing the game progress. It is a shame we weren't allowed to record any footage, but I am allowed to talk about the experiences that I had throughout this time, which is really cool, and I'm glad that they've let us do that. We're allowed to discuss pretty much everything open, and even if there were negative experiences, which to be honest, I didn't really have any. There was a couple of small things, but nothing major. Now, Nightingale will see you set on a journey of survival and adventure into the mysterious and dangerous Fae Realms of Nightingale, where we'll be able to build our massive settlements, recruit friends, fight dangerous enemies, and it is just going to be insane. The storyline behind it sounds really interesting. That is one of the things that we didn't really get to see too much of, but I'm very excited about how this game will progress through this early access phase. Now, if you do want to help the team out, they are doing stress tests on the 2nd of February. Now, to actually gain access to this stress test, all you'll need to do is go onto Steam and click the Request Access button. Now, once you've clicked that Request Access button, all that will do is let the developers know, and you will be notified if you get in. Now, this is only a short stress test. They are testing out the servers to see how many players they'll be able to get in before things start to go, well, to be honest, a little bit tits up. And hopefully they get as many people in as possible. Now, the selection for this is unfortunately completely random, so you don't have to do it at a certain time. It doesn't matter when you do it, and they'll be letting players in waves. Now, you will have to be on alert because it will open at 5 PM UK time, and that is to download the game. And then the servers will kick in roughly an hour later at 6 PM UK time, and they'll be inviting players in random waves. Now, this is only for around about 3 to 4 hours. So, not the most amount of time, but just enough if you really want to test it out and see and put your mind to it and guess whether you actually want to get the game. This is a great chance for you to actually play it before you make that final decision. And I have a feeling those that do play it will end up wanting to buy it because it is a great game. Now, you are between 10 to 12 hours into the story, progression-wise and gear-wise, so you have a decent chunk of stuff, and you'll actually be able to play fully, being thrown in without having to go through that tutorial phase. You'll get to actually experience the game and some potentially boss fights and all the biomes for what they are when you get into sort of that, well, I say early stages of the actual full-on game when you come out of that tutorial. Now, my experiences with Nightingale, they were very good. So the first playtest, I believe, this is the first one that I can find that I actually joined, was back in November of 2022. So that is over a year of various playtesting. I think there's been 7 or 8 playtests since that point, which I've participated in, I think 6 or 7. There was one that I missed because I was away, but it has been absolutely phenomenal to see the progress move through and them really taking on the feedback of the select few that were in there. I believe there was around about 20 to 30. There may have been more that we don't know about, but we were split into certain groups. And there was various aspects where you could play multiplayer, which I did a little bit of that with JadePG, who will also be covering the game. He's an awesome YouTuber, loads and loads of survival stuff on there. He is literally balls deep in Nightingale, so he'll have loads and loads of stuff. He'll probably beat me to it, cheeky bastard. But yeah, he'll have loads of good stuff on there if you do want to check his channel out. There'll be a link in the description down below, as well as links to various Nightingale Discords and Nightingale Steam page, all of that kind of stuff. So if you do want to join in for the playtests, make sure you check those out. There'll be various updates going through the Discord as well. But that first playtest was great. It literally threw you in the middle where you had to start and build, and then through the actual feedback from us, the playtesters, we did let them know that it was quite tough at the start. and they did sort of make it tougher, which was good, but they helped you a little bit more, which there is a really decent in-depth tutorial for those that want it, which will really help you learn the mechanics of the game, because there are quite a few things in the game that were quite difficult to understand at first, and could be a little bit of a pain in the arse if you didn't quite understand them. But then once you got to grips with all of those base mechanics, like the base building, weapon crafting, how to use your powers and all that kind of stuff, it really started to take off. Now, the downside to a few of the playtests was you had to start from the beginning with each one. So you'd have to put more and more time in to get through, and that started to be really, really useful to get that beginning part of the game. And you could, once you'd learnt a few times, you could smash through the start really quickly, and then start to progress as they added more things for us to do through various playtests. We could progress through various bosses and basically do a hell of a lot more exploring and building. I was a little bit stupid because I focused quite a bit on the actual building and exploration. I didn't really go into too much detail with the combat. I spent a lot of time crafting, which I really enjoyed. The crafting systems are so detailed and so in depth. I can't wait to see what people will do with the old estate side of it. But the combat that I did have was really fluid and enjoyable. It didn't seem like it was overly difficult, but it also didn't seem like it was relatively easy. So there was that fine line in the middle where certain places that I was going and certain bosses that I was encountering, through obviously realm cards, putting different realm cards in and trying different biomes, you could encounter various different things. I don't think two people are going to experience exactly the same thing in this game, which is the beauty of it. It's all absolutely all over the place, and there's so many different things that you could encounter, which is great. I love that with a survival game where it feels like there's nothing old and everything is relatively new and explorable, which is the beauty of the actual realm cards themselves. You can go to different biomes, you can mix and match different realm cards to create something truly unique every single time. And with that uniqueness, you can come across all sorts of weird and wonderful bosses and bad guys, and obviously animals and sort of the creatures that you come across. Some of them are so majestic and beautiful, but also will kick the shit out of you without you even noticing, which was quite terrifying and difficult to get to grips with. There was one bug which was in, I think, the third or the fourth playtest, where there was something wrong with the spawn rate, which they fixed really, really quickly because it was an absolute pain in the arse, but it was loads of fun, where you would have continual boars and wolves literally bombarding you like there is no tomorrow, and it was loads of fun. So hopefully they don't have that bug, because it was a pain in the arse after about an hour of just beating the shit out of boars and wolves, but it was loads of fun. And then the most recent playtest that we did was in, I believe, November, or it was November or December of 2023, and holy shit, the differences between that first playtest and that last playtest that we did were absolutely astronomical, and the game has progressed so much in, a year doesn't seem like a short amount of time, but the amount of work that they did in that year and the amount of changes, the amount of detail they brought to it, based off of everybody's feedback, was absolutely phenomenal. And you can tell that the team really are passionate about this game and want to do it so much justice. And I'm glad to be a part of it. So a massive thanks to Inflection Games and Scarves for all of the absolute hard work that you've put in. And honestly, it shows in the game. And I'm not just saying that because I've been part of the playtests and I want to suck up. No, it does show the amount of love and effort and work that they've put into it. This is going to be one of, if not the best survival game of 2024. It may not have the numbers that Power World has got, but you know, Power World's knocking everybody off that spot at the moment, which is absolutely insane. But for today, we're going to wrap that one up there. Hopefully you've all enjoyed today's video. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and stick around for much more Nightingale. We're going to have plenty of videos on the way up to the lead up of the game. Hopefully, we'll be able to stream the playtest. I do want to get back into streaming in February sort of time. So make sure you stick around for that. We won't be streaming on YouTube, though. We will be streaming on other platforms. I'm not too sure what platform we're going to stream on. Whether that'll be Kick, Twitch, or Rumble. So if you have an idea on that, let me know down below. And if you are going to buy Nightingale or you're interested in it, let me know also. For now though, I've been Wyatt. You've been awesome. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.